Hi guys, so today I am going to show you how I use my Kat Von D Lock-It Tattoo Foundation on my dry skin. I have been having some of you guys asking me how I use it, so I'm going to give you a little demo. I'm also going to be doing sort of like a review wrapped into this because I have been using it for a couple weeks now. So let's just go in with a little bit of information about the foundation. It is a full coverage foundation. I think it says a medium to full coverage, and that's pretty accurate. If you do use it a very tiny amount, you can do medium coverage, but it's very easy to get a full coverage effect with this foundation. It is 24-hour wear. I don't know if I would ever even need to wear a foundation for 24 hours, but I have worn it quite a bit, and I do know that it lasts a very long time. So yes, it is very long wearing. Again, my skin is dry, so a lot of foundations do wear better for long periods of time on my skin, but let's just go into the demo. I do have a couple different things that I do to help my foundation not look cakey. With this foundation, it is very easy to get a cakey sort of look because it's so full coverage, and if you have any dry patches or dryness anywhere in your skin, it will kind of stick to it, and it just looks like there's tons of foundation on your face. Now, this isn't a foundation. If you want to have like a natural looking finish or, you know, anything like that, it is very matte and it looks like you have foundation on. So if that's not what you like, this is not for you. There's not really a way to do it to look extremely natural, so I wouldn't recommend it for that. But if you have a lot of problem areas, especially like I have now and this time of year, I get breakouts and my skin is really dry, so I have to be more careful with this, of course, but I need a more full coverage foundation so I don't have to use as much concealer on my face and so many different steps. It's easier to kind of wrap it into one thing. So I do love this product. You can get it at Sephora or online, and it's $38, so for a high-end foundation, that's really not bad. So let's just get right into the demo. So first, I definitely start off by moisturizing my face. If I'm getting ready right away in the morning, I just use like a more emollient lotion. If I'm doing it later, I just make sure to reapply lotion about 10 minutes before or whatever. I'm not timing it, but just a while before so it has time to soak in. Next, I prime. There's a couple different primers I use for this. I like my Makeup Forever HD Redness Correcting Primer. That's the green one. But my skin is so dry right now that I've really been liking this Feel Like Honey Moon Skin Base. I actually got this in a glossy box, I believe. Yes, it was a glossy box. And I will link where you get it down below because I did look because I had never seen this before, ever. I've never even heard of it. And it was very inexpensive. It's basically a gel moisturizer is what it seems like to me. So if you have one of those, you could maybe try that instead. But this is very inexpensive, and I'll link that down below for you guys. So I have already applied that right before I started filming, so it's been a few minutes now. So I'm probably good to go. So I just take my foundation and I do one pump on the back of my hand, and that is all I use most of the time. I might go back in sometimes to like a certain area and add a little more, but generally this is plenty because it is potent shit. It's so pigmented and I just really love it. So I am going to be using my Sigma F80. I just really like this brush for this foundation. I like it more than my Real Techniques Expert Face brush just because it's a little more densely packed and it's just easier to blend this foundation around. This foundation on dry skin has a tendency to just kind of stick. Do you know what I'm saying? So you really do need a brush that can blend it out well. I've tried using my Beauty Blender and I don't like it at all for this. So of course it's personal preference. If you like it, that's fine. Do what you need to do, but for me this is what I do. So I take my brush and I dab the tiniest bit in the foundation and then pat on my hand to kind of blend it into the brush a little bit, and then I just start applying this to my face in downward strokes. And this is just going to kind of help it help prevent it, from getting caught up in any dry patches that I may have. And I am doing the thinnest layer as I possibly can, because it's easier to add foundation where you need it than to try and take it off. Especially with this stuff, you literally have to wash it all off if you need to start over or you put too much on. So I just start with a very, very thin layer, and then I will go back with a tiny bit more in areas that need a little bit more coverage. And I stay away from my hairline, right around the edges of my mouth, and my eyebrows, because it does tend to get caught up in those areas because it's such a thick foundation. So okay, now for my nose. Look at how red my nose is, seriously. Ugh. And I really try to avoid the lip area because it's impossible to get this off of your lips. And it kind of gets caught up in like the corner, if you have like crusty, dry corners of your lips, which I do, it gets caught in there and it just looks like you've got like a dirty mouth all day. It's really gross. And I don't know, I don't think I'm going to speed through this, you guys, because I want to show you how long it actually takes me, so I apologize if this video is going to be really long. I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet, but I want to show you guys how much I actually blend this foundation out to make sure that it doesn't look cakey. And I'm literally like, okay, this is how much I still have left on my hand. I don't know if you can see. So I'm just barely tapping the brush into the foundation and then dabbing it off to the side and then going to my face. So barely any at all. And I don't know if you need to do this. If you're oily, if it blends out easier, if your skin is oily. But for me, it doesn't blend out very easily. So that's what I need to do. And I like to get my eyelids and under my eye really well because I don't use sunless tanner on my face, and if my eyelids don't match the rest of my face and you do makeup, it just looks really weird. So I make sure I adjust my skin color there as well. And I barely have anything left on my brush, almost nothing. So then I can go through my eyebrows and make sure it's all blended out, and around my hairline and blend it out. Okay, so now I've applied it to my entire face. I have a little bit left on my hand, and I'm just going to kind of stipple this where I need a little bit more help. I know I had some really bad blemishes down here. Redness in my cheeks and on my nose and then my forehead a little bit. So I just quickly stipple that on. And I like to bring it down my neck just a little bit. It's just a habit, really. Okay, so my foundation is on. Now, I like to take Fix Plus. You can use, even e.l.f. has a setting spray that's actually really similar. I don't like it for setting my makeup, but for this it works just fine. You can use a charged water. You can use anything really in a spray form, a spray toner, and I just spray my brush, just spritz it. Come on now. I need another bottle of this already. Man, I go through that stuff like crazy. Okay, so I spritz my brush, and now I'm just going to kind of tap this around my face to rehydrate some of those areas that get really dry. And this just helps your makeup, your foundation look less cakey. So this is the step that is really important in my eyes, because it sort of just makes your foundation sort of meld into your skin and give it a little bit of a more natural texture. And I'm not rubbing because I'm not buffing, I don't want this to go anywhere. I don't want my foundation to move around. I'm just very lightly and softly stippling that moisture back into my skin. Alright, you guys, so that is it. That's how I do the foundation part. I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup and I'll be back in 1, 2... I've got to stop doing that. Alright, so my makeup is done, and it's funny because my original thought is like, oh, I'm going to go super natural today because I just have running around to do and it's a foundation demo. But as you guys might know, if you saw my recent haul, I just got the Anastasia Beverly Hills Lavish palette and I went a little crazy. But whatever, you forgive me, right? Another thing I did want to point out about this foundation when I'm doing my makeup is that I do like to set it with a translucent powder after I do my under eye concealer, just because I feel like if I touch my face, it doesn't feel super dry. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and I like it to feel that way because then I feel like it's set and I can touch it or whatever if I need to, because I touch my face during the day kind of a lot. I try not to. I know, it's terrible. But I do. So I like to set it with translucent powder. Another thing I did want to point out, when I am doing my makeup, I find that, excuse me, blending things out isn't as easy as some other foundations because it's almost, I don't want to say it's tacky because that makes it seem like it's uncomfortable to wear and that your face feels like it has glue on it, and that's not really what it is, but it does make it a little bit more difficult to blend things out seamlessly. So I have just been using my Real Techniques Expert Face Brush to do my contouring and blush, and I almost stipple it on rather than blending it out. I do blend it out a little bit to apply it. I stipple it on and try and get it as smooth as I can before blending it out, whereas with another foundation with maybe like a satin finish, I don't have to worry about that at all. So that's just another thing that I wanted to point out. I really hope that this helps you guys. If you had any questions about the foundation, or you're worried about wearing it with dry skin, or you can't figure out how to get it to work, this is just how I have figured it out, and this works for me very, very well. So I felt the need to kind of share that with you guys if you're having trouble or if you're worried about the foundation. So I definitely highly recommend this if you are in the market for a full coverage foundation. I haven't tried, out of all the foundations that I've tried, I haven't found anything that works as well as this as far as coverage goes. I think it might be easier with oily. If you guys do have more oily to combo skin, my friend Amy at Amelia St. John has a review on this actual foundation on her channel. So I'll link that down below if you guys want to see her video on it, because it might be different, obviously, because we have different skin types. So if that's your skin type, go check hers out. I really hope this helps. If you have any other questions, if I missed some things, ask me down below, and if I forgot anything, I will put it in the description bar if somebody asks me something and I'm like, oh, I should have talked about that. I'll list it in the description bar down below if anything like that comes up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!